Today I want to talk about enmeshment, and that word always makes me think of mashed potatoes. And probably because it's when the boundaries between yourself and another person becomes blurred. Kind of like everything is mashed together. There's no clear edges, there's no clear divide between where you end and that other person begins. And it doesn't only happen in romantic relationships, it happens with friends, with parents, with siblings, with adult children, and it can even happen in work dynamics. Anywhere closeness always becomes fusion. So at first, it can feel comforting. There's a joined at the hips intensity, a sense of we instead of me, and maybe even the subtle belief of you complete me, or more quietly, I don't quite function the same without you. But over time, something starts to feel off, and you begin noticing that your moods depend heavily on theirs. If they're anxious, you'll feel it in your body. If they're upset, your nervous system goes on alert. If they withdraw, you feel destabilized. And that's not just empathy, it's entanglement. And it becomes quite difficult to know what you are actually feeling because you're constantly scanning what they feel. You may even struggle to make decisions without checking in first. You might feel guilty wanting time alone. You may even feel slightly lost when they're not around, as if your sense of grounding lives outside of you. So, enmeshment quietly erodes your self identity. It's when boundaries soften and they become almost invisible, like melting ice on a hot day. Privacy feels unnecessary or worse, selfish. And there's that unspoken expectation of constant availability, immediate responses, emotional loyalty that sometimes looks like emotional over responsibility. And slowly your self trust begins to weaken. You stop asking, what do I want? And start asking, what will keep the peace? What will make them happy? For many people, this pattern didn't begin in adulthood. It was learned early through parentification. And maybe you grew up in a family where emotions were shared but not separated. Were you aware of adult stresses long before you should have been? Where you became the helper, the fixer, the confider, the steady one. When children are pulled into adult emotional roles, even subtly, they learn that connection equals caretaking, and the child grows up wired to manage other people's emotions. They learn that love means merging. So, as adults, independence can feel uncomfortable, space can feel threatening, and being your own person can feel like disconnection. And yet, without space between two people, there isn't real intimacy. That's just merging. This type of entanglement often leaves people feeling exhausted, anxious, or emotionally stretched thin. Yes, you may love that person deeply, whether that's a friend, a pairing, a sibling, or a partner, but you still feel drained, as if your energy is constantly being drained into managing somebody else's needs. And the thought of stepping back can feel terrifying. Because if I'm not managing, supporting, fixing, or stabilizing, then who am I? Saying no is a powerful step towards taking back your autonomy. And yes, you might feel guilty at first. That's normal. So you take baby steps, checking in with yourself. And untangling begins gently. And it starts with noticing your internal state when you're apart. Do you feel anxious, guilty, unsteady? Do you rush to reconnect so that you can feel regulated again? It continues with small acts of separation, making a decision on your own, taking space without over-explaining, letting someone else feel their feelings without absorbing them. This isn't about pushing people away, it's about reclaiming your center. When you begin shifting, the dynamic may resist. There may be guilt, confusion, emotional pull to return to familiar pattern. And that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means the system is adjusting. And you need to remember you are not responsible for another adult's emotional reactions. You are responsible for your own responses. Stepping back or taking a break allows you to establish healthy boundaries and pack compassion with you when you go. This isn't about judging anyone. It's about understanding the dynamic and taking ownership of the part that you've played in it. Maybe being needed made you feel loved, important, safe, and you can honor that. while also recognizing it's no longer serving your growth. This isn't about all or nothing, it's about balance. Balance in all things, balance in all relationships. And always remember to reach out when you really need support. Healthy relationships of any kind allow room to breathe. They allow two separate nervous systems, two separate identities to coexist without collapsing into each other. You can care deeply without caring. You can support without absorbing, and you can love without merging. And maybe the most important part, you can function on your own. The more you reconnect with your own preferences, your likes, your dislikes, your rhythms, your limits, your desires, the more stable you begin to feel internally, the more authentic you become. Not because someone else is steady, but because you are. That's not mashed potatoes, that's wholeness, standing in your own shape again. Thank you so much for joining me today and taking the time to listen to this episode. I really appreciate you being here, and I do hope that you found something that resonates with you or helps you in some way. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and you can follow me on social media. I'll put the links below, as well as a link to my website. Till next time, this is Minky K, Unpatterned.